All right. Well, I guess I should do the bread update. We're not going to touch these yet because they're pretty gross. But this boy, that's just water. It's still pretty much all the way intact. This is my spit plus water. And if I'm being honest, this boy real nasty. Can't really see the difference via the screen, but we'll come back to those at the very end. They're both digesting though, that's for sure. Okay. In this one, we is exploring the wild, weird world of our gut microbiome. Yeah, this is some pretty wild stuff. Like, I didn't learn about this stuff in college. And now you guys get to learn about that because we know more about it. And I was in a lab that kind of studied some of this stuff, and the lab next to us did. And I've always been kind of fascinated by this topic. I mean, like literally these tiny viruses affect our ability to learn and remember. What? That's insane. All right, well, what are they talking about? What are they talking about here? Well, let's go down here to the cecum and the appendix. That's where we're going to kind of live to start things off. Remember, most people tell you that the appendix has no function. I mean, this is really crazy. Well, after this lecture, you could just decimate anybody in the planet with this knowledge. All right, so we got our cecum, which is this part here, as a reminder. And we got our appendix, which is down here. This little tail. Appendix actually means like vermin. Can't remember the full word, but vermin means like worm, and it means little worm. Man, what is it? What is it called? I can't remember. It's been a while since I've taken anatomy. But okay, so inside of all of your digestive system, including your stomach and all that, you have a little layer of mucus. You have a mucosal layer, like so. All in here. Whee. Okay, and this does, especially in your stomach. I mean, your stomach's what? Full of acid. So this is very protective, right? But it also protects us from things like pathogens, bad bacteria. Okay? So all up in here, we've got little bacteria. That'll live up in here. Okay, so we got all different kinds of bacteria. Like, I'm going to draw them as just little dots living in the mucosal layer. All right. And they live all throughout the small intestine, large intestine, etc., etc. Oh, guess what? They also live down here in the appendix. Beautiful. Okay. Whoop, not what I wanted. Okay, so we have a gut, and then, it's different types. I'm not going to draw them all in, but we got different types. We got these bacteria, so on and so forth. We got maybe some of this, some little red boys. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so we have a draw it in gray. It's called a microbiome of gut bacteria. Or it's called your gut microbiome. All right? And these guys do all kinds of different things. Your gut microbiome helps you break down food. So it also helps you do some digestion as well. They help protect you from pathogens. Slash bad bacteria slash infection. Okay? So let's say we got a real baddie boy here. The real baddie boy, we'll draw him as like a little thing like that. If he wants to come down and party down here, he's got to outcompete all of the bacteria that already live there for nutrients. So he won't be able to as rapidly divide. So like bad bacteria are kept in check by having to compete with good bacteria that help you do these other things, right? Okay, that's pretty cool. Thanks, bacteria. Oh, bacteria are bad. Nah, son, they ain't. Okay, bad bacteria kept in check. Better chickadee check yourself before you wreck yourself, bad bacteria, huh? All right, whereas if this boy landed up here, well, you got no bacterium. Let's say you just had some diarrhea. You just had mega wet poops, aka diarrhea. And that flushed out all your bacteria, and that flushes out, and that flushes out all your gut microbiome. Now the baddies can flourish if you get an infection, if you swallow some, right? Because they got like it's like an unpopulated city that they can just move into now. Can flourish. All right, that making sense? So now we got boom. 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 Now we got problems. All right. Boom. These boys can release toxins, let's say. Boom, boom, boom. And they start eating your flesh. Now you got inflammation. Release toxins. You got inflammation. All right, I'm getting kind of off topic here. Toxins, inflammation, tissue damage, etc. All right, getting a little off topic. Yeah, I'm on topic, but that wasn't good. I wasn't planning on going there, but now I'm there. All right. Let's say you just had mega wet poops, aka diarrhea. That flushes out all your gut microbiome. Now, the baddies can flourish if you swallow some. That ain't no good. That ain't no good at all. So you can really kind of think of your gut bacteria as part of your immune system because they help defend you from pathogens. Okay, now this has a little side thing actually on top of this. Mega wet poops, aka diarrhea. Let's say you had that from drinking too much. This is going to cause other problems for you too, drinking too much. Alcohol. Okay. Alcohol also kills your gut microbiome. Some beers can have beneficial gut bacteria, but if you're drinking alcohol to the excess where you're now having diarrhea, not only were you killing your gut microbiome, because alcohol is also poisonous to them, but now you have diarrhea and you flush that out. So now you got a double whammy, okay, of a lack of bacteria. You killed some and then flushed a bunch out from having diarrhea. Okay, cool. All right, well, we just had diarrhea and dumped all this stuff out. Wouldn't it be nice if we had a storage place for our bacteria that we could then seed and replenish our gut bacteria? Oh, wow. Well, it turns out that the appendix is just chocked full of gut bacteria, right? It's this tiny little vermin worm just full of a very diverse microbiome because it's not going to be flushed out from diarrhea. Okay? So your appendix, the appendix functions, is often said to have no function. Wrong. The appendix is a store for your gut. It's like a gut microbiome bank. Microbiome. It is like a gut microbiome bank. Well, you need to make a withdrawal after we just had diarrhea. Okay? So after diarrhea, let's say this side, we had diarrhea over here. What will happen is all of these goody bacterias, will come out. And we'll start to seed new bacteria up here in the gut to replenish this. Okay, so that is the function of your appendix. It may have others as well. Gut bacteria, bacteria from the appendix can move out after diarrhea to replenish lost bacteria. Okay? Pretty freaking cool, man. Pretty freaking cool indeed. I love it. Okay. That's just one thing. So one thing that your gut bacteria are doing. Here's another thing. These guys, I can't remember if I talked about this already. Gut bacteria make the building blocks or precursors, building blocks, precursors, that means building block, for your neurotransmitters. All right, that's pretty crazy. Gut bacteria make the building blocks precursors for your neurotransmitters. So your brain function is dependent on your gut bacteria. All right? So things like dopamine, we talked about this, dopamine and serotonin are made by your gut bacteria. All right? Serotonin, dopamine. This is like your motivation chemical, neurotransmitter. And this is your satisfaction neurotransmitter. I can not type or spell. Okay? We talked about these in depth. All right, dopamine, motivation neurotransmitter. Serotonin, satisfaction neurotransmitter. These are made by the bacteria in your guts. These make these. That is crazy to me. I still am I think this is bonkers. All right? So your motivation and satisfaction are controlled by gut bacteria. Are your gut bacteria. That's wild. Okay. Pretty insane. Here's a triple whammy for you. Let's go all the way back. Let's go back to the neurotransmitters. That's all happening in your little cecum and your colon. Let's go back to the synapse here. So we're looking at this part where these two axons meet. Yeah, okay, so we got dopamine, motivation. It's how you feel after you finish a huge project. You did something great. You got all the checklists done. Yeah. Serotonin. Okay. Satisfied. Pleasure. I feel good. I'm done. I don't want more. When I'm low in this, suicidal thoughts and aggression. Okay. When I'm low in this, a total lack of motivation. Okay. Alcohol, cocaine. Not so much cocaine. Let's just talk about alcohol. Alcohol gonna make you dump all your dopamine, so then you're depleted from just dumping it all. And it's going to disrupt your gut bacteria, so you have a harder time making more dopamine. So it's a cycle where it then addicts you to that drug. Because the only way you can get that motivation feeling again is by consuming more alcohol, which is then further diminishing your gut bacteria, further depleting your dopamine. And there you go, slipping down the slope, being addicted to alcohol. It's crazy. Okay? Let's go back. Let's go back to that little cecum. All right, so now let's think about the opposite way. Now let's kind of look at the kind of negative side of it. Let's look at the positive side of this. Okay, well, if our motivation, satisfaction, and our learning, if we go back up here to these little phages, they're controlling our gut microbiome. Talk about this in mice. But it's controlling memory, and learning is controlled by our gut bacteria. Well, wouldn't you want to have healthy gut bacteria and to have a good amount of gut bacteria and to feed them properly and treat them like kings and queens? Because it's going to affect how you frickin' feel, think, and learn. What? I certainly want to do that. Okay, well, let's talk about that. We got a couple of terms here. We'll move these over here. Okay? We got a couple of terms here. We got prebiotics, and we got probiotics. What do these terms mean? Probiotics are good gut microbes. Okay, that's what a probiotic is. It's a good gut microbe. It's a good gut bacteria or a fungus. Good little microbes for your gut. And a prebiotic is something that feeds gut microbes. So it's something that feeds your probiotics. That's what a prebiotic is. Okay, and I'm not actually even sure if there is a term for this. So I'm just going to make one up. But there should be a term for this. What's a I don't know, whack biotic, an antibiotic? Antibiotic won't work. Because that is actually a thing. Something, let's just put it like this. Something that is bad for your gut microbiome. And I've already listed one of those, which is for sure alcohol is bad for it. Okay, and this is going to be kind of the topic of your discussion post here, or part of it. You know, what are prebiotics we can eat, probiotics we can eat, and what are some of these things that are bad for our gut microbiome? And I think I'll add another layer to that as well. But this stuff can be life-changing, okay? And if you don't believe me, let me give you another example, okay? Not only does it affect our brain and the way we think and our mood and our ability to learn and remember things. It's like, are we even us or are we our gut bacteria? Let me give you another example here. Like, I wish I would have learned this stuff. Honestly, I wish I had a professor as freaking cool as I am. Wish I'd have learned all this crap. All right. Okay, let's just do this right here. Let's do this right here. All right, we're going to draw ourselves a little mouse. He's a little mousy boy. Yeah, he's a little mousy boy. Oh, yeah. I'm just a little mousy man. Oh, yeah, he got a goofy nose. Uh-huh. I'm a little mousy man. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. He's so good. Yes. Okay. Little eyeballs. They gotta be black and they gotta be filled in. Oh, that's big. Okay. Okay. You need a tail though. All right. All right. There's our little mousey. And this guy, it's called a nude mouse. What that means is he has no bacteria in or on him. So he's completely sterile. So it's called a nude mouse. They're born like they're sterilely removed from their mothers. They're fed sterile food. They have no bacteria living on or in them. Okay, and then we take these mice. Let's take a couple of humans here. I'm gonna draw me a couple of humans now. Okay. Well, this is reading TED to me. This is Ted. He's the inventor of TED Talks. That's Ted. He's pretty stoked. Okay. And then we got we got Billy. We got Billy here. And Billy, Billy just been, it's cold where Billy lives. Billy been packing it on. Okay. Billy got one smaller arm too. I gotta fix that. That just ain't gonna look right. Okay. Billy likes to eat. And that's okay. Okay. Billy got a tentacle arm too. They like each other. They're friends. Okay, and they're involved in a study. So this was Ted. And this is Billy. And you know what? I didn't realize that I named them Bill and Ted. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. That's what we're about to go on. Okay. If you don't know that movie, you should check it out. It's pretty good. Okay. Now what we do is we take our nude mouse. So this mouse, again, has no bacteria of its own. We take nude mice for both Bill and Ted. And what we do is we take the little gut microbes of Bill, who's the thin chap, and we put him in the mouse. And we take the gut microbes of, sorry, that was Ted, of Bill, and put him in the nude mouse. So we inoculate, that would be called inoculate. Inoculate. It's a very fancy science term for put. We inoculate nude mice with gut bacteria from thin and thick, we'll call it humans. Okay? The science word for that would be obese. But that is a weird term. The BMI scale is kind of whack as shit. It tells me that I'm dying all the time. You just shouldn't exist. You're dying, Tori. You need to weigh more. But I'm pretty freaking healthy, so the BMI is a load of shit in a lot of ways. Okay. So, what happens here? Well, with Ted, mouse was already, then it probably actually got a little healthier. Just got a little healthier because now it's got some gut microbiome and all that. So the mouse stays thin. Okay, but with Bill, let's copy this bad boy. What do you think happens? Sure, you could probably guess. Our little mouse and May gets a little beefy. Okay. Mouse gains weight. Okay, so just changing the gut microbes, donating gut microbes from a person who's overweight to a mouse now makes that mouse overweight. I mean, this is fascinating stuff. Why is that? Is it because it allows them to digest things? Is it because it alters their relationship mentally with food? Like, what is it there that is actually changing with that mouse? I don't know. Like, there's so many questions I have. And there's a lot more that we could go into and talk about here, but I don't want to blow your guys' minds too much. But that's pretty mind-altering right there. Okay, one last thing with bacteria that I want to talk about is that bacteria, if I were to draw, let's draw a little E. coli. So we got our mucus layer, helps protect us. And then way down in there, we're going to have a little E. coli bacteria. And they're a bacillus. They look like little rods. And they're covered in something called LPS. And this actually causes inflammation. So it's like a luxurious carpet. I'll see if I can pull this up. EM of LPS E. coli. Pull up a little picture of this just so you can appreciate how beautiful this is. It's like a luxurious shag carpet. I'm not seeing any good pictures. LPS David Goodsell. There we go. I can just pull up this one. We've seen this one a bunch. That boy blurry. There we go. We've seen this one before. Well, that's not. There we go. Okay, so this is just the tip of it, the end of it. This stuff all right here, all of this, that's LPS. That's lipopolysaccharide. It's lipid with a bunch of polysaccharide hanging off of it. So this LPS, lipopolysaccharide, lipopolysaccharide. I think that's actually all one word, not polymer. Lipopolysaccharide causes inflammation. Okay, so this causes inflammation to humans. Causes inflammation. E. coli. Lipopolysaccharide on E. coli. It's E. coli. It's a type of bacteria. E. coli. Escherichia coli. Okay, causes inflammation. Okay? And there's different severities, different strains of E. coli that cause various levels of inflammation. And one of the bad ones is this one. So bad E. coli strain is this. 157. 157 causes a lot of inflammation. It also, yeah, will cause lots of inflammation, for example. And there's others, and there's other ways, other toxins that they have as well. But that LPS, it's always there. It's always on the E. coli. It will always cause inflammation. Okay? Now, let's talk about everybody's favorite. And we've drawn these before, but we're going to draw them again. Okay? And I'm going to do my best to draw this from memory the way that somebody drew it, and I've already messed it up, and that's okay. This is looking a lot like a puppy. That's okay, though. But it's not. This is, of course, I'm the milk cow. Okay, he's actually pretty good with his big old beefy back. You got the little hooves. Okay, this is so bad. I'm so good at drawing. He's cute, but... Okay. So, cow. You know, moving to Central Valley, I've not eaten as much beef as I have elsewhere than I have here. And I was vegetarian for a long time, but I'd say I'm flexitarian now. I had a bunch of tri-tip actually yesterday. So, like, look. We could talk about food and how to actually eat properly. But beef, not very good for you. Okay? But if you're gonna eat beef, I'm gonna teach you how to eat it. Alright, so where do we get steak from? We cut up in this friggin' cow, right? And we take its muscles. So meat is the muscles of an animal. People say that fish isn't meat, and last time I checked, fishes are animals, and it's the muscle that you're eating, so therefore it is meat. I don't understand people. They don't make any sense, okay? So let's say we got a steak. Nice big old fat like a ribeye or something. It's still got the bone in it. And that boy got some fatty deliciousness. Right, we can be eating this steak looking good. Okay, well, let's zoom way in here. And we're going to have, we'll draw them in green. Boop, 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 boop. Bunch of E. coli growing on this steak. And why is that? Well, when we slaughter animals, we don't do it sterilely. It's impossible. Cows are covered in shit and dirty bacteria all in their fur. They're laying in their own feces, especially if you're like eating the factory shit. Like, bro, there's bacteria all over it. So bacteria all on the surface of meat from non-sterile slaughtering. Like, it's inevitable. All meat you buy will be covered in toxic E. coli. Doesn't matter. It's all covered in it. And we could just say like toxic bacteria. Toxic. No problem. Okay, so if you want to eat beef, do this. Eat steak, cook it well. Even when you cook it, that LPS is still there though. And it's still going to cause inflammation. All right? But you're diminishing the amount that you're eating, especially if you eat like when I eat that tri-tip, it's like there's only this much surface area on the outside and the rest is all in the middle that I'm eating. Same thing with a steak. There's limited surface area. Limited surface area for bacteria to grow. On a steak. On a steak. Okay. Now let's do something. Let's take this bad boy. Trying to kind of cruise through this. Let's take this bad boy, all right, and put it through a grinder. So now we got ground beef over here. We've taken that big beef and we've ground it all up into little fragments. Okay? So now we got a grinder, not the app. We got a grinder, and then we got ground beef. Okay, well, what have we done is we've just increased the amount of surface area for this bacteria to grow. So now we're increasing the amount of bacteria that we're going to have. So where there was once only a little limited amount of surface area, now every little piece of beef, it's like a tiny little steak with surface area for the bacteria to grow. And I'm not going to draw all these, but you get the idea. And what I'll actually do is I'll just do this. And you can see this almost looks like a virus. This looks like an infection. Okay? So even if you only had a little bit of the infectious bacteria, now you got a lot of it. Because you gave it more room to grow. And you gave it places where it could grow all by itself. Okay? And it doesn't matter if you cook this, the LPS is still there. And there's some studies that say that actually LPS separated from bacteria actually causes more inflammation. It doesn't matter if you cook it. The LPS is still there and can cause inflammation. It's disgusting. This is absolutely disgusting to me when I figured this out. I don't eat ground beef. No thanks. I'm good. It's essentially like eating poop. It's so covered in terrible bacteria for you. Same thing with like cow milk. It's essentially like drinking poop. There's so much of the bad E. coli in there. No thanks. Unless you're drinking it fresh, like fresh milk out the teat. Okay, so this is why I don't eat ground beef. You know, do what you want, but you know, that's your prerogative. It's not for me. And, you know, I guess I'll say one last... No, I'll save that for the next little lecture. But I think that's a pretty good little round of like, hey, wow, this gut bacteria stuff's pretty important. I'll shut up about it. You know, it only controls your mood, your thinking, your memory, your weight, and like how sick you are based on the foods that you're eating. So I'm excited to see what you guys are kind of going to do with this in the discussion. I'll see you in the next one.